All right, we will continue our availability. We now welcome Dale Earnhardt Jr., driver of the number 88 National Guard Diet Mountain Dew Chevrolet, currently fourth in points with one win so far this season. Obviously, Dale, coming back to Michigan this weekend, where the site of your last win here in June. Please talk about how you feel coming back into Michigan this weekend.
Just really anticipating getting on the racetrack and seeing what kind of speed the car's got and seeing how comfortable the car is. They changed the tire a little bit, so just anticipating going to work and trying to find some good comfort and good speed and trying to put a good effort in this weekend.
All right, we'll take questions for Dale. Please raise your hand. We'll get a wireless mic to you. We'll start up here with Lee, then go back to Claire.
Lee Spencer, Fox Sports. Congratulations on the National Guard. Can you talk a little bit about that? And as a driver and an owner, how do you figure out what fair market value is when hiring a driver or doing a contract yourself? I know your sister does that, but you know, when you look at the big picture of the big picture, how you get sponsorship, how you get what your souvenir sales are, wins, making the chase, all kind of things have to figure in. I mean, is there an easy formula for that?
I think it's just probably different for everybody. I'm not sure how to figure it out in a cup level because the numbers are so big, and I don't really deal with that end of it. But in the nationwide level, it just depends on the driver's experience and obviously his performance, if he has had any performance in the past. You kind of also you number crunch throughout the year and your ability to draw certain numbers per race depends on the track and the market. For a standalone race, it's quite difficult to find sponsors, but for companion events, they like to be where the NASCAR, the Cup guys are, and they like to be at the bigger events. So, it just depends on the tracks themselves.
Okay, we'll take next question from Claire, then go to Nate and Marty.
Claire B. Lang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. Are you relieved on the National Guard front, or you're more focused on the driving and some thoughts on that coming down?
Yeah, I was real happy to have the Guard sign, and I expected them to continue to be part of the program. We've had a real positive relationship, and they've been really excited about what we've been able to do, and we got some great ideas coming up that we just started implementing this past week, where we're going to visit high schools and talk to the kids and the parents and the principals, and giving the Guard an opportunity to have more access at that level. So we're doing some good things, and that was a lot of fun. That was the first time I've been to a high school to talk to a group like that, so I enjoyed that. And I think that it's good for our team and good for the sport, and we're excited that they're ready to be on board for the next season.
We'll take our next question from Nate.
Nate Ryan, USA. Dale, kind of following up on the Guard thing, there's been talk that the legislation could pop up again maybe by the end of the year.
Yeah.
Do you have any sense, like, is it good regardless now for next year, or could it still, I guess what I'm asking is it still hanging over your head a little bit, the debate in Congress, or do you feel like you're set now for next year?
I feel comfortable that we're set and we can move forward, and I think that the legislation will always kind of be around, and the opposition to that will always kind of be there, fighting their fight, and that's part of their job, I suppose. And but I feel pretty comfortable with the agreement, and think it's pretty concrete.
Okay, we'll take our next question in the back from Marty.
Marty Smith, ESPN. Dale, what was it like to come back here? What's it like to come back when you were the guy that won here the last time we were here?
I don't know. It doesn't really feel any different than going anywhere else that I haven't won. The only thing is there's a little bit of added pressure, I guess, that to go back out and have the same performance and run the same. I know that that's not always likely. We go to Pocono in rather short span of time, and you'll run quite differently each time you go, even though they're only about a month apart. the car will have a little bit more speed at one of the two events than it will the other, and so there's a little bit of pressure, I guess, because people know that you did so well the last time, so you're gonna be focused on a little bit more throughout the weekend. But I feel pretty comfortable we'll be fast, and we should be able to go out there and compete for the win. If we don't, I'll be pretty disappointed.
Okay, we'll take our next question here from Terry, then come to here to the left, then over to Bob. Terry, you have a question? You didn't? Okay, we'll take a question here to our left, right behind.
Yeah, going off that, Anthony Sabella, WILX TV up in Lansing. What was your strategy last time, and do you have one this time? Or talk maybe a little bit more about the track as well.
Yeah, I don't really have a strategy. You just go out there and try to lead and get to the front. If you're not in the front, get to the front, pass the guy in front of you. Pretty simple. Run as hard as you can every lap. The tires are, held up really well last time. The track's really smooth, and you just run as hard as you can every lap. And there's really not much to it. You don't have to save tires or do anything. It's pretty much laid out there for you. I think the track should be in great shape. The truck guys have been out there burning it in for us and getting it ready to go, so we should be able to hit the track right off the bat and feel pretty comfortable that the track's real similar to, closer to what it'll be like on the race on Sunday than it was the last trip we were here. We really had a pretty green racetrack when we showed up, and it changed throughout the weekend as we laid rubber down, and the track's a lot closer, a lot more rubber on it today than a little bit closer to what it'll be like on Sunday, so we shouldn't see such a big swing in the balance of the track and how the track changes throughout the weekend as we did the first trip.
Okay, we'll go Bob, Reed, and Mike.
Bob Packer, Sporting News. With a little bit different tire and different rear sway bar rules, do you expect what worked in June to work this weekend, or will it be a lot different?
I expect, our setup's pretty much the same. I don't think all we did was wash the car, and I don't think we even touched it since then. So that's what I was told. But now I expect our setups that we've used to work just as well, and we've learned some things since the last race here that I think will even help us and find us to be more competitive. So, I think we're a better and faster team than we were even in the trip here the first time.
Go ahead, Reed.
Reed Spencer with NASCAR Wire Service. Dale, speaking of that, it's been 17 years since a driver's been able to sweep both races here at Michigan. Is there an explanation for that beyond just how competitive the series is?
I think, if I had to guess or add something to it, I would say that the track's really competitive. It's really wide and allows for quite a bit of passing. It's really hard to dominate the race. There's a lot of variables that come in, and cautions and stuff like that toward the end of the races, and strategies change, and back when the races used to get swept, it was more about engines. It was Ernie Elliott and Yates building power plants that would just come down here and whoop everybody all year long, and you don't really see that quite as much. All the teams are quite equal, and there's not a car out there just dominating under the hood like they used to back then.
Okay, we'll go Mike, then Nate.
Mike Hembry, Speed.com. Dale, you've had a really good year beyond the win with the consistency, top tens, and so forth. Would you feel as good about how you could do in the chase if you had not won that race here in June? Does that make a big difference in how you feel going forward for the rest of the year? Yeah,
absolutely. Getting over that hurdle, getting that first win does a lot to relieve you and reassures you that your team can win. I think if we were still winless, we would feel a bit snake-bitten or somewhat cursed, I guess, in a way. And that might mess with your psyche a little bit, mess with you mentally. But once you do break through that barrier, it definitely gives you a reason to believe you can do it again at any moment.
All right, go ahead with your question, Nate.
Nate Roney said that you became an auto dealership owner this week, apparently, and was just wondering if you could talk about what your goals are for that? I know your dad used to own dealerships. I think he used to work at one of his dealerships, I think. And,
Yep.
and are you planning on being really actively involved? And, what's it mean to have that?
Yeah, we've been, me and Rick had talked about this for a long time, and quite a lot, extensively, and just we're waiting on the right opportunity. Dealerships are challenging and quite fickle, and it depends on the market, and we just wanted to, we knew we would have an opportunity if we were patient, and this one's kind of a turnkey deal. We're going to do a little bit of remodeling, but otherwise, I mean, all the employees that are there and everything, it's things working as designed, so we're not going to have to go in there and turn it upside down. But yeah, it's something I've always had an interest in doing. That was going to be my profession. If I hadn't have been a race car driver, I was going to work in a dealership as a mechanic or something. That's what I did to pay my power bill for 4 years. So that was what it was all about for me at one point. And so I feel, it was pretty weird to be standing in a service department talking to all my employees and mechanics when I used to work in one myself, and never imagined that that day would come. But I'm excited about it, and I will be hands-on and will be involved quite heavily, and I'm looking forward to, I know, through the experiences that I had with my dad owning the one in Newton, I'm excited to sort of carve my own path and enjoy that same experience that he enjoyed, and make it successful.
Final two questions we'll take from Jeff and Terry.
Jeff Wood of RacingToday.com. Dale, back to the National Guard. You mentioned in Charlotte back in May that you didn't think the senator from Georgia who was against military sponsorships, I believe that's Jack Kingston, maybe had never even been to a NASCAR race. You're going to be in Atlanta in a couple of weeks. Has there been any efforts or thoughts from your camp to maybe get him to Atlanta or to a race to see the program at work?
No, not really. I'm not sure really if anybody from Hendrick, they have. All right. Well, I guess somebody at Hendrick has been in touch with them trying to lure him into an event. It would be a good opportunity for him to get a good glimpse of what the program's about and how it works at track. But most of our efforts, are starting to gear toward, other venues and getting me involved in other ways to try to get more attention and more awareness to the Guards. So, but he's welcome to come out. And per Laura back there, she says we've been reaching out from Hendrick and all that. So that's all you can do, I guess.
All right, we'll take our final question from Terry.
I was just trying to confuse you earlier, Christy.
That's all right. It's very easy to do. That's okay.
Terry Blunt, ESPN.com. Dale, you've won a race this year. You've led the points. You've run up front most of the time. Is there anything that you feel like you and Steve still need to do to show that you can win the title this year once the chase starts? Is there anything missing at this point for you?
I mean, you think we want to win more races. That's missing because we need more bonus points so we can lead the points once we go into Chicago. That's that's probably gives the team a lot of confidence. And we feel like we should. We've been so strong this year. We're just a little shy in the win column. For how we've performed throughout the year. And but I've definitely, if the wins want to wait and come into the chase, that's fine with me too. But we want to win every opportunity we get out on the racetrack, and we don't show up to lose. So that's one of the things I think that we'd like to have happen, at least once before we get to the chase. It might really give our team a good boost, good momentum going in.
Dale, thank you very much for your time this morning. Good luck this weekend.
Have a good weekend.